Okay, I started the new recording again. Okay.
All right. So, good morning, everybody. We are going to open up with the IDA meeting. And the first item on the agenda is the public hearing for the Lion Factory Commerce LLC.
Okay, so this is the other portion. We did the residential portion with a 30-year pilot 2 months back. I think it was in December. The building will be condoed into a commercial component on the ground floor consisting of approximately 30 to 35,000 square feet, including the current tenant and other space as well. This is a 10-year pilot that is presented that will commence when the CO is issued, and because of the cost benefit that I had distributed started in 2022, but they probably won't have their CO until 2023. So this is a revenue additional on top of the pilot agreement for the residential component. Justin, do you have to read anything for the public hearing?
No, I think you've introduced the substance of the project fine. We just note that the IDA is considering a pilot agreement, as you've described, along with mortgage recording tax exemptions and sales and use tax exemptions. With that general description, you can open the floor to any public comment or board questions for purposes of the hearing itself.
Great. Are there any comments or questions from the public?
And I only see 2 public on here, 3 public.
Okay.
Anybody raising a hand? No, so I don't see any comments or any questions or comments.
If the board has any specific questions for Larry Regan, I think I saw him on as a participant. So as we move into the regular agenda and this item comes up for purposes of the approval resolution, that would be the time if any board members or staff or anybody want to have a back and forth or an update from Larry.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Justin. All right, Steve, I don't see any questions or comments from the public right now.
No. So I can say close the public hearing.
Yep. Do we need a motion for that, or we just close it?
We should have a motion to close it.
Do we have a motion to close the public hearing on the Lion Factory Commerce LLC project?
Motion.
Jim?
Jim.
Do we have a second?
Second. Stephanie.
Stephanie? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Motion approved to close the public hearing on Lion Factory Commerce LLC. All right, moving on to, you done anything you need to do on your end, Steve? We're good to move on.
No, just move into the minutes.
Great. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the December 18th, 2020 board meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion, Sue.
Sue, great. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm sorry,
Alright.
abstain, sorry,
Abstain, and that was Latasha?
Latasha.
Got it. Do we have that written down, Steve?
Yes.
All right. Moving on to the third item, which is the project authorizing resolution for the Lion Factory Commerce LLC.
Justin, do we have to read anything again, or do we just?
The resolution as presented is our standard form of project authorizing resolution. The last bite at the apple, if you will, if we use our old friend Kevin's nomenclature. The IDA's accepted the application previously and now conducted the public hearing. The resolution authorizes proceeding with the project and a closing when the development team is ready to close on financing. which is, Steve had mentioned, it'd probably be later this year with construction later this year or early 2022. The authorizing resolution approves the form of pilot agreement that's contained in the cost benefit analysis and the other benefits, including mortgage and sales tax. That's a quick summary. If any of the board members have any questions or want to get an update from Mr. Regan when the question's called, go for it.
Can you talk about the, it's been a while, but can you talk about the construction project?
In specifically, happy to, Albert, is specifically in reference to what aspects?
What are you doing? Like this whole part of this project, what are you doing in this portion of the project?
I see. Okay, I see. So as you know, last month we came before you for the residential portion, and just to sum up and quickly brief that, for the upper floors of the project, that will be 151 units of residential housing. This component is about just shy of 30,000 square feet of commercial. And we briefed the board, I believe it was either November or December, with our first concept plan on this to refresh the board's memory. We're going to be leasing about 10,000 square feet of the 30,000 square feet to the existing owners of the building. It's TAG Uniform, the Arakalian family. There are partners in the project. They're staying in the building, but their footprint in the building is shrinking to the 10,000 feet. That leaves 20,000 feet, which we're hoping to do a blend of mixed use commercial sort of flex type of space, where we're going to go out to some quasi governmental or not-for-profit organizations. As I mentioned back in the meeting, I forget it was October or November, or even the December meeting, we were hoping to do some sort of shared communal kitchen concept. We're talking to people locally about that and trying to, get that concept off the ground. So we're going to go out to the general market for maybe some flex office space, shared maybe type of office space. That concept is working. Something that could bring to that sector of 2nd Avenue in Lansingburg some traction with some commercial activities to generate more economic vitality. And that was our discussions with Steve and the mayor and the staff when we first came to the city with the concept. So that's generally the concept. It's going to be built at the same exact time as the residential. So it's one big development package. It's not a phased development where we're doing the residential and then waiting for the commercial. Everything will be done together. And as we proceed towards a construction start, which we're hoping to close this in December, we've been talking to the state housing agency about looking to put this onto their December bond closing package. We've been working with Darren Scott, who some of you might know has been active in Troy over the years, to try and get it onto the state's agenda. So I think that's our plan. I'm happy to answer any questions on areas I didn't hit, but that's the general idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Does anybody else have questions for Larry at this time?
There.
Yes, Jim.
Hey, Larry, I know you're talking about going to specific groups or some groups, both general business and in our nonprofit sector. What are you thinking you want to put in there? Because I was thinking like with 151 apartments, you'd have like a laundry complex and a coffee shop.
I think those are ideas that absolutely can work. Generally in our buildings, we do have laundry set aside for our individual tenants, but we could look at it. I think the challenges for this building, Jim, is that I don't know if you've been in the building, but when you go up to the first floor, you have to go up about 5 steps. So the elevation of the most of the ground level, it's not ground because there's a level that's exposed below that's half above grade, which is sort of like a exposed half exposed basement level. It's not like you're walking in, so it creates access issues. They're solvable, but they're challenged. So we were looking for more of a use. A coffee shop is a no-brainer there. I think potentially some daycare for the clients for the residents and for the area, the community in general. You know, those type of uses. I know there's a Whitney Young primary medical care facility just to the north of it on 2nd. That's a group that we've partnered with recently on our open building. They took about 8,000 square feet in our Albany building, and I know they're already there, but that type of use might work. So we're wide open, and as I mentioned when we came to the board in that October-November meeting, we're happy to hear any of these ideas and happy for you as community leaders to link us to potential opportunities that work for the ideas that the city has to revitalize that 2nd Avenue corridor of Lansing.
Appreciate that answer. And Larry, what I was talking about with a laundromat was not open to the public, but just to take care of the 151 apartments. And yes, I do know the building very well. My mom worked there for almost 20 years as a seamstress. I was up and down those stairs numerous times, and my friends all worked there. So I've been in that building a numerous amount of times, and I can't wait to see its transformation into something that will be a great utility for Lansingburg. So I appreciate that. And yeah, that's what I was saying, something that would keep that commercial area energized, where it wasn't that revolving door where people coming in and having to come out. And, you know, so I appreciate the time you're taking to try to figure out what will fit in there, so we could have a great amount of longevity with each one of these businesses that are selected.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Larry. Does anyone have any other questions for Larry?
May I ask a question?
Sure, Deanna.
Larry, do you have an idea of what kinds of rates you're going to charge for your commercial space?
So the rate that the Aracelians are going to get, because they're sort of partners in the project, is deeply discounted, Deanna. But we're trying to underwrite at a rent that's going to bring quality long-term commercial occupants to the project. So, you know, we could underwrite. We're going to be improving that space, so we're putting in, you know, our own private dollars into revisioning that commercial portion. At this point, you know, anything around $4 to $5, because and I'm happy to have you look at the space because I know you're active in the market. You're welcome to sort of brainstorm with me, but you know, we have to get enough to cover the taxes, the pilot taxes, the common area charges for any of the shared, you know, maintenance of the building and the insurance. So that takes up a piece of it. And then we're trying to underwrite it at very low rents so we could attract maybe startup kind of businesses to the space. So I'd be happy to get your ideas as well on where the price point might be, but we're thinking around that $4 because that's a number that still can, for it's not retail because you're not walking right into it. It's sort of the type of like funky office space because it's got that old mill, you know, wood beamed and wood floored look with the large windows. So I'm happy to walk the building with you when I'm up there, and you know I'm up there quite often, so we can do that.
Sounds good, Larry. Thanks.
Chair.
Yes, Jim.
Larry, would you be willing to share your contact number for any questions or maybe a time to look at the building as you're going along?
I would welcome it. So my office number is 914-693-6613. That's down in Ardsley in Westchester County. And my cell is 0478. You know, if we could find a user at this, you know, seed stage, development stage of the building, it would be beneficial for everybody, including the user, because then we could underwrite the rents, as Deanna's suggesting, you know, what's the right rent, into the numbers as we proceed.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
When do you expect to start construction?
So if we can close in the December bond round of state housing bond financing, we probably start even as early as January of 2022. We don't see getting into the state round before then. We still have to have our historic Part 2 approved by the state, SHPO and NPS, though they've seen this before and they've already approved a Part 1, so it's not a problem. And we know that the project's going to be embraced from the historic reviewers, both at the state and the federal level. But I think, you know, we can get everything going for that December round with closing and start in January, and, you know, the plans will be all done by then.
How long do you expect it to take to complete it?
It's probably all of an 18 to 20 month build with a couple month contingency.
When it's completed, can we see it?
Absolutely. You can see it you can see it at every stage. Look, we appreciate your commitment to the project, the city's commitment. If you want to come in as often as you want to take a look, you know, we can make that happen.
Okay.
Thanks for accommodating, Larry. Anyone else have any questions? Well, Larry gave out his cell phone, so don't call him too much. Is there, so I guess there's no further discussion. Steve, do we need a motion? We just move on to the next.
No, you need a motion to approve the resolution.
Great. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution for Lion Factory Commerce LLC?
Motion.
Got it, Jim?
Jim. We have a motion. Jim, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Great. Thanks, Stephanie. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Well, thanks,
Thank you.
Larry.
No, thank you all
Appreciate
very
it.
much. We look forward to working with you. Thank you again.
Thank you. All right. Seem to have just a typo. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. I think I'm missing one of the items. Steve, is the next
Yeah,
item?
so we have, actually, let's handle that under new business. I think
Okay.
everybody's received in their packet an application from Vic Christopher for Clark House. And you got the information, it's just for a sales tax exemption on construction materials. I want to just talk about that under new business
All right.
in a
so,
minute.
yeah, we'll do that in a second then.
Okay.
So the next item on the agenda is the administrative funding agreement. Steve,
Right.
you want to update that?
Okay, so this is an annual agreement that the city, the IDA, because it uses staff and space allocated by the city of Troy, we agreed to pay funding to the city in the amount of $100,000 each year towards the staff costs for myself, for Dylan, for Andrew Kreshik, Andy Petrowski, Danae, and for the space that we have as well. So this is kind of a technicality here. We always put that $100,000 in the budget, was approved in October of 2019 for the year 2020, and we haven't paid it yet. So we're getting ready to pay that now. And so even though it's already been approved, I'd just like to have a motion to approve the administrative funding agreement, and then we will be back again next month with one for the year of 2021.
Anybody have any questions for Steve? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the administrative funding agreement that Steve just presented?
I'll make the motion.
Sue, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Thanks, Steve. Next item on the agenda is the board evaluations and fiduciary forms.
Okay, so again, this is an annual, whatever, bookkeeping or record keeping item. So you have those in your packages, and every year, if you could fill out the board evaluation forms, send them to Danae. You don't need to put your name on it, or you can put your name on it. We'll look through them, see if there's any issues to be talked about before the board, but basically these get retained in our records as part of the reporting for the authority budget office.
Great. And Steve, when are those due by?
Well, we'd like to get them all kind of cleaned up this month if we could, if everybody could take a look at those, and we'll follow up with you. I mean, I know you don't put your name on it, but you're emailing them to us. You can sign it by email. You can do it online and forward it to us that way. And then get it to Danae. So it'd be nice to see those. Be nice if you could do it after this meeting, so you don't forget.
All right. Great. All right, Steve. Next item is the executive director's report.
Okay, just to update the St. Augustine School on 114th Street that we approved a pilot for a while back. I went in there yesterday, and I'm sorry, Albert, it's been tough. I should have invited board members. It's tough with COVID right now because we try and keep some of these events small. We went in and looked at that. I was in with someone from the mayor's staff, and we just went through the 34 apartments. It looks really good. It's moving forward. We will probably go back in and again in about 4 months or so to take a peek at these 34 units. So if anybody wants to come and look at that, they're coming along really nice. They've done a beautiful job preserving the building and doing the renovation to allow for the apartments. The Riverwalk project, if you remember, Don LaRosa was here. That is across the street from Terra Kitchen on River Street. That has been delayed because of an issue with the city with a reverter agreement. They bought some land from the city, and they're trying to clear the reverter on that. There is a sewer line and a water line behind there, and our attorney's having some discussions on the language. So we are meeting with the developer and the Department of Public Utilities and the attorney in about a month. So you're not going to see that thing closing until probably April of this year.
Have they got financing?
They do. They've got their financing. What's his name? Community Preservation Corp is. Yeah, they're on board. They're going to be attending that meeting as well.
That building is like open in the back. I mean, I run by there all the time. It just seems like it's open in the back.
Well, it's been. I don't know. I've driven by it. I haven't seen it open, but they are.
I mean, like, you know, if you look on the upper floors, like, you know,
Yeah.
It seems like it. I don't know. It just seems like it's no progress at all.
I know it's open from the front on the second floor. Those windows there, but they're working on. College Station, City Station North. We approved that a while back. That was been delayed for various number of reasons. I was contacted again by the developers, so they are planning on moving that forward this year. And so hopefully we'll start to see demolition permits come in the summer for that, for the old Bumpstead Chevrolet building, and that would be a real nice addition to our downtown. And finally, if you remember when Heidi Knobloch was the chair, we brought to the board changing the enabling legislation for the IDA at the state level, because there's that we needed some technical corrections. It still referenced the city manager. It allows for the IDA to keep functioning when our one outstanding bond is paid off, as long as we have straight line lease transactions on the books, which we have plenty of. That we will continue to operate. It brings our financing in-house instead of using the city comptroller. So there's a number of corrections that has been forwarded to the state. The city council approved a resolution for that. So hopefully we'll have those changes made this year, which really you won't notice much change or any change, but it does clean up our legislation to make things more clear. Let's see, and I believe for executive director's report, that is it. I would like to ask that maybe we move into new business before financials, just since we do have Vic Christopher online here. And I know he's driving, and who knows when he's going to go out of range. So,
All right. So then we'll jump down on the agenda to new business. And Vic, I'm not sure if you can hear us.
Yeah, I hear you.
Great. You got the mic then.
And I'll just do a quick introduction. So I'm sure everybody knows Vic in the Clark House on Broadway. So basically what he's looking to do is convert the upper floors into hospitality units, apartments that function along with the restaurant. And what he's asking for is not a payment in lieu of taxes, only the sales tax exemption of 8% on the construction materials. So I've talked with Vic for some time about this. We've been working with him to try and get the rest of that building finished off. So Vic, do you have anything you want to add? I'm sure you do.
Just appreciate the support, and we are moving forward. We currently are working to complete our structural permit, which has been issued. And so basically we've set the stage for us to complete this building finally. And so I'm hoping this is the year that we make it happen. We'll be doing a suite with a spa, like a bridal suite on the entire third floor, 3,000 square feet, which sleeps 6 to 8 people, and 4 units on the 4th floor. And we're looking to keep them as Airbnb units so we can have destination weddings.
Right. And Justin Miller, do you want to just clarify for us? There was no public hearing there. Can you just kind of go into the amounts and how we do this, or the procedure for this?
Sure. Yeah, the board's accustomed to a more rigid 2-month or 3-month process where we accept an application, then schedule a hearing, and then eventually approve a project. The IDA also has something we call generally a small projects policy or application, where just sales tax and mortgage recording tax exemptions can be offered without a pilot agreement. And in this case, Vic has come to the IDA with his project just seeking sales tax. Relatively small project, wouldn't necessarily merit or require a pilot because it likely won't hit the assessment rolls for an uptick. So in this case, there's a couple of things in play. The IDA is required to have a public hearing anytime the estimated benefits exceed $100,000. In this case, we have a roughly $400,000 project that would cap off at a maximum of $32,000 in sales tax exemptions. So we don't hit the public hearing threshold. And together with being an internal project that doesn't hit site plan or planning commission purview, the IDA is able to visit this project with a single resolution to authorize and move forward, as opposed to a 2 or 3-step process. These small projects are a good tool that a lot of IDAs throughout the state utilize for smaller projects. There's also a graduated fee schedule associated with these, where instead of collecting 3/4 of the total project cost, or 3/4% of the total project cost, the IDA simply collects 10% of the projected benefit, which provides some savings to these small projects and gets the benefits out to them. So Vic's got a great little project, and it's great to see that massive building kind of finally getting to the finish line. So I'm glad to see that moving forward, and this resolution will allow us to close pretty quickly and allow him to finish the build out with the sales tax exemption.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for Vic at this point?
Have you submitted a budget for the project?
There was in the application form, yes.
There was one in the
And
application? Oh,
The application form, I mean, it's not a strict budget. It doesn't get into, it's just the amount of the project. So if
you
you're
have
looking
a
for a
breakdown.
line-by-line breakdown
Yeah,
of,
you have a breakdown of what he's actually doing up there?
the building department, I mean, we've been working with them through the building department. So, so they're aware of the project, and we are aware of the project as well, but I don't have specific numbers.
Can he get us specific numbers? I mean, you're talking a $400,000 project that he's primarily financing because he says he's got a construction loan of 75,000. So most of this money's coming from cash flow from his businesses and him personally. So
Well, I'll let Vic answer that, but again, this is only, so as he's only getting the exemptions as he's purchasing the materials. So
I'm hoping
my
that-
whole thing is, can he get it done? And we don't have anything verifying that he can get it done.
Yeah, I have the money in the bank, and I'll send you a screenshot of the bank account. I'll send it to Steve right now.
Okay.
So the money's in the bank. I already have the financing.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Steve, I'll be emailing you a screenshot momentarily or texting you.
Okay. I will, is that something I can share individually with the board members and not put up on a screen on a recorded meeting?
You can do whatever you want with it. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, whatever you need to do in order to feel comfortable to move forward. Of course.
I don't need to see it.
Albert, I was asking you, are you all right seeing that after the fact with the,
Oh, yeah, yeah, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
okay?
Chair.
Yes, Jim.
Hey, Vic, I'm excited to see the Clark House get finished. Let me tell you, is this project the last piece of the puzzle, or is there more to go after this this build out of the upper floors?
Yeah, no, this completes kind of that we've done at this point 7 buildings which were long vacant, and this was the most challenging out of all of them for a multitude of reasons. We've been working on this building for 8 years, and I need to move on with my life, and it's time, and we're going for it. And I want this thing open by this summer, Jim.
I can understand that pain.
It's gone on too long, but we're gonna send it home, and I hope after this we can continue to rebuild historic projects in the city of Troy, which would be great.
Look north. Look north, my friend.
Oh, I'm thinking about it, Jim. I really am. We'll talk.
Anash, did you have a question or comment?
Just a statement. I can't believe it's been 8 years. I still remember when that building didn't have a back walking through there with you, Vic. So really impressed, obviously, with your progress thus far, and also looking forward to the completion. Certainly, you know, it's certainly been 8 years, but it feels like you've never stopped making quick progress. So I'm sure you'll be able to finish this off.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the support.
Thanks, Vic.
Great. All right,
Okay.
so do we need to vote on this right now, Steve?
We
Could I
should,
ask
it'd be nice to,
Sorry.
Was that, sorry, was someone had a
Deanna,
question? Deanna.
Could I ask a question of Vic?
Yes.
Vic, are you planning anything with the the upstairs of your Bradley building?
Working on it slowly. Yeah, we're working on it slowly, just insulating and getting utilities up there. There's never been use up there. As far as I know, I think there was a dressmaker there at the turn of the century. 1900 was probably the last time there was anybody doing anything up there, and it was never residential.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, so. Yeah, it's a great space. So yeah, it'd be great to have you do some Airbnb or something up there as well.
Yeah, it's definitely in the works.
okay, so I guess,
All right.
yeah,
Gonna
so I
move.
guess we could,
You're gonna vote on it, yep. Do we have a
Yeah.
motion to approve the resolution for Vic Christopher on the sales tax exemption?
I'll make the motion.
Stephanie,
Yes.
do we have a second?
Second.
Anasha, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Well, the resolution for Vic Christopher on the sales tax exemption is approved. Vic, thanks again. Appreciate you presenting it.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everybody else. Appreciate you.
All right.
Thanks, Vic.
thanks, Vic.
Thank
While we're on new business, Steve, you want to just stay on? Is there anything new or old business you'd like to discuss before we move up to the financials?
Not for the IDA, no.
All right. So next time on the agenda is the financials. Mary Ellen, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Okay, the first report is our statement of financial position. At 1/31, our total assets are $580,333, with $370,284 of those assets in cash. Our liabilities are $43,820, leaving us with a fund balance of $536,513. No real changes to this report.
Can you talk about the receivables?
Sure. So the receivables right now are what the IDA needs to pay the city for pilots. You'll see them up there in accounts receivable, and you'll see them down in due to other governments.
Okay.
Okay, so they wash through our balance sheet.
Okay. It just sticks out. To me, it just
We don't really have any receivables. Our receivables on the IDA, we get annual fees at right around 2.1, but the majority of those annual fees are not paid yet. And they'll never add up to $38,000. So that is just stuff that goes through our balance sheet through the city.
Okay.
Pilots in this case.
Okay.
The next report is a statement of activities for the month of January. We have a deficit of 11,292. We had no significant sources of revenue, and the largest expense was in architectural engineering for $9,500, which was for H2H geoscience.
And that was work done down at King Fuels that we approved back in December. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions regarding the financials at this time? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the financials as of January 31st?
I'll make the motion. Albert.
Albert made the motion. Jim, do you want to second it?
I will do that.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. The financials are approved. Thanks, Mary Ellen. There's no other further discussion at this time.
But don't get off the line because we're going to go into the CRC meeting.
Yep. So I'm gonna, adjourn the meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn the IDA meeting today?
Make the motion.
Great. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Perfect. All right. Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Yes.